Paula is a U.S. trained lawyer with a focus on human rights and international humanitarian law. And today is the national screening day of her newest film called Faithkeepers. Paula, how are you? And tell us where you're calling from.
Hi, good morning. I'm doing well. I'm calling from Jerusalem, Israel this morning.
Well, that's a little far away from us, but we are thrilled to have you. Hey, first of all, what is the film Faithkeepers?
So Faithkeepers is a documentary film about persecuted Christians and other minorities in the Middle East. Unfortunately, there's terrible tragedies happening right now as we speak in the Middle East, where Christians are losing their lives, losing their homes, churches are being destroyed, and it's really a genocide that's happening on our watch. We might get some of the headlines here and there, but we've really not gone in depth. And Faithkeepers is a film which takes you in depth and tells you the stories behind the headlines of these incredibly brave people that are standing up for their faith.
How did you get involved in this? Because now here you are in Jerusalem talking about this very serious subject, especially we're just talking about the tragedy in England. How did you get involved?
Well, as you said, I'm a trained lawyer in human rights, and I really do believe in the power of media and film, especially to advocate and to serve as a platform. I worked with the Clarion Project, an incredible organization, to produce this film. And again, I was a bit dismayed by the lack of action happening in the international community. And so to me, being able to do film projects is a dream come true. And I really do believe that films like Faithkeepers can inspire people to action in a meaningful way.
And you mentioned, too, that Faithkeeper shares real-life occurrences, giving a face and a voice that we can connect to during this humanitarian crisis, too. And maybe if you could talk about that, too. You did touch on that, but how can people stay informed to the persecution as real life, rather than, you see it in the headlines at the news, but people really kind of don't get the feel for it?
Absolutely. It's hard. I mean, these headlines are gut-wrenching and it's easy to turn away. I encourage all of your viewers to go to faithkeepersmovie.com, and there you can sign up to bring the film to your home church. You can watch the trailer and get involved. We've got a three-pronged call to action: awareness, advocacy, and aid. We're collecting funds to send to affected communities in the Middle East. But primarily, we really want to use this film as a bridge. We know that it's hard to understand a massive humanitarian crisis, but when you hear the stories of these individuals, I'm certain that your audiences will be moved, and they'll not be able to forget the stories that they hear.
Tell us, how dire is this? Because we do see the headlines, but I've heard the same things that you're saying now, Paula, that people don't even know the scope of this and how bad it actually is.
That's true. I mean, like I said, it seems like just a headline, but I don't think that people realize that we are at risk of Christianity being extinct in the Middle East. So the birthplace of Christianity, the first Christians were obviously in the Middle East. And now there's an estimation that by 2050, Christians will be 3% or less of the population of the Middle East. And that's compared to the turn of the century, when Christians were a much larger percentage of the Middle East. At the turn of the 20th century, they were 20% of the population. And now there's a fear that they will be fully extinct. And that's the message that we're trying to get across. We're saying, be your brother's keeper and get involved in this fight, and don't abandon the Christians in the Middle East.
Could you talk, Paula, too, about the people that you have met and, their feelings about staying in the Middle East, staying in this situation where there's danger all the time?
Yeah, I think that for many, many people, this is their homeland. And while certainly there are several thousand who have chosen to leave the region, I think their hearts were broken that they had to leave. And now there are more Middle Eastern Christians living outside of the Middle East than in the Middle East. And I think that's very painful for a lot of folks, for Coptics, for Assyrians, for Chaldeans. This is their homeland, and they truly feel just like I said, heartbroken that they've had to abandon their land. I think it's imperative that we think about a solution so that we don't have to empty the region of their Christians. We need to create safe havens and really ensure that Christians are able to be protected no matter where in the world they are.
Mm-hmm. Well, Paula, thank you so much for doing this. I applaud you for your courage in doing this because I'm sure it's not easy. And thanks for being with us. Where can people find out more about the film?
Yes, please send everyone to faithkeepersmovie.com. You can sign up to host a screening in your own church, and I really encourage everyone to get involved.
Faithkeepersmovie.com. Paula, thank you so much, and you have a wonderful day there in Jerusalem.
Thank you.
Thank you.